Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Armour and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever make a mistake so big it eats you alive every single day? That's where I was. I thought I was doing the right thing when I helped Luna, but instead I opened the door to a nightmare. My son was the one who paid the price for my choice, and it nearly drove me to a place so dark, I actually thought about ending it the only way I knew how. But then, Katie, my ex-wife, the one person who knows me better than anyone else. She pulled me back from the edge and reminded me what I had forgotten, family. That no matter how badly I screw up, we can still stand together. And for the first time in years, I started to believe that maybe this chaos could bring us closer than ever. Let me tell you how it all unfolded. Will Luna bring Bill and Katie back together? I never thought I'd find myself sitting across from my ex-wife, Katie, bearing my soul in a way I hadn't in years. But that's exactly where I ended up, at her place, late in the evening, while the silence between us was so heavy it nearly broke me. Katie has always had this calm presence, this way of looking at me that makes me feel seen, even when I'm at my worst. And I was at my worst that night. I confessed to her that I was tormented. That's the only word that fit. The guilt, the rage, the helplessness, it was eating me alive. I couldn't stop replaying it in my head, the mistake I made in getting Luna pardoned. At the time, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought maybe, just maybe, I was saving someone. But in reality, I unleashed chaos into our lives, and the person who paid the price wasn't me. It was Will. My son. When I told Katie what I had been thinking, that dark thought that maybe the only way to fix things was to get rid of Luna permanently, I saw the shock in her eyes. She froze, not out of fear for herself, but because she knows me. She knew in that moment how close I was to the edge. She didn't scream, didn't throw accusations at me, didn't call me a monster. Instead, she said softly, "Bill, murder isn't the answer. You're going to do more good for our family out here with us than behind bars." Her words cut through the madness in my head like a lifeline. She was right. She's always had that way of pulling me back when I lose myself. I admitted to her that what hurt me the most wasn't what Luna had done to me personally. It wasn't even the thought of her manipulating her way back into our world. It was that my actions, my mistake, had left Will vulnerable. My boy was suffering because of me, and I couldn't forgive myself for that. Katie's strength showed in every word she spoke. She told me we had to think about the bigger picture, about the unborn child Luna is carrying. She reminded me that no matter how much anger we feel toward Luna, that baby could be our grandchild. "If the child is Will's," she said, her voice steady, "then we'll take custody. We'll raise that baby as a Spencer, protect him or her from Luna. We will get through this as a family." A family. I hadn't felt that word in my bones in a long time. She even had the sense to remind me of something I never like to admit out loud, that we're lucky. We have the money, the resources, the privilege to protect our son in a way most families can't. Hearing her say it, I realized how blind I'd been to the power we already hold. I've always thought of myself as powerful dollar bill Spencer, the man who can make or break fortunes, destroy enemies, and build empires. But when it comes to my son's heart, when it comes to protecting him from pain, I've never felt so powerless. That night, though, Katie gave me back some of that power. She reminded me that together we could face anything. She didn't excuse my mistake, didn't let me off the hook, but she also didn't abandon me in my guilt. I'll admit it, I broke down. Right there in front of her. The tears came before I could stop them. I told her how much I hated myself for what I'd done, how much I wished I could turn back time. She didn't try to soothe me with false promises. She just sat there, quiet, letting me grieve my own stupidity, until finally she reached across the table and placed her hand over mine. "Thank you," I whispered to her. Thank you for keeping me from crossing that line. And for the first time in years, I felt like we weren't just exes trying to co-parent from a distance. We were Bill and Katie again, partners, standing shoulder to shoulder in the face of something bigger than ourselves. The hours after that conversation with Katie felt like a blur, but they're etched into me like scars. I remember sitting on her couch, the same one we used to share when Will was just a little boy, running around in his pajamas with a smile that could melt even my coldest days. Back then, life seemed so much simpler. We were a family, not perfect, but together. And now we were talking about Luna, about the damage she'd done, about whether the child she carried was my son's. It was surreal. Katie made tea for both of us, even though she knows I don't drink it. I think it was more for her, something to keep her hands busy, something warm to cling to while the weight of everything pressed down on us. I watched her move around the kitchen, steady, calm, in control, and I couldn't help but think, how many times has she picked up the pieces after me? How many times has she been the anchor while I've been the storm? And yet, despite all the hurt I've caused her, she was still there. She was still the one keeping me from falling apart completely. I told her, voice low, "You should hate me, Katie, for what I did. For what I almost did." She looked at me then, with those clear, piercing eyes that always see through the layers I try to hide behind. "Bill," she said softly, "I don't hate you, I'm angry, I'm hurt, but I don't hate you. If I hated you, we wouldn't be sitting here right now." Her words broke something in me, but they also built something new. For the first time, I started to wonder if this nightmare with Luna, as much as it had torn us apart, could actually be the thing that brought us back together. Not in the romantic, storybook way people like to imagine, but in the real, raw way that comes from surviving hell side by side. We started talking about Will, about how strong he's been, but also how much he's hurting. Katie said she'd noticed him withdrawing, spending more time locked in his room, his laughter coming less often. She told me how she'd walked past his door one night and heard him crying. That nearly destroyed me. My son, my boy, crying alone, and me, his father, powerless to take the pain away. That's when Katie laid out her plan. She told me we needed to stop reacting with anger and start planning with intention. "We can't control Luna," she said firmly, "but we can control how we respond. We can show Will that he's not alone. That no matter what happens with this baby, he has a family who loves him and will protect him." I couldn't argue. I didn't want to, but deep down I was scared. Scared that I'd already failed too much. Scared that I'd pushed Katie away so many times that even now, when we were fighting the same battle, she'd eventually walk out for good. Still, when she talked about raising the baby if it was Will's, I saw something in her eyes I hadn't seen in years, hope. Not for Luna, not even for the situation, but for us. For the Spencers. For the idea that maybe, just maybe, we could put aside the wreckage of the past and stand strong together again. I realized something important that night. Katie wasn't just saving me from myself, she was saving the part of me that still believed in family. And as much as I hate to admit it, I needed that reminder more than anything. I reached across the table, covering her hand with mine, and I told her, "You're right. We'll do this your way. We'll protect Will. We'll protect the baby if it comes to that. We'll get through this together." And when she smiled, tired, worn, but genuine, it hit me harder than anything Luna could ever throw at us. Maybe this was the beginning of something I thought we'd lost forever.